Let me know, Lee. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special event. We have a dedication to Mr. Alan Wood, and in order to present his special birthday award, this is a hero birthday award, we have to review just what the heck heroes are. So we have a special file with Al where we review heroes. This gentleman is named Nick Vujicic. This is a guy who was born with just nubs for his arms and legs. And he learned how to walk, play drums with his foot, and he also learned how to get down on the floor and get back up. Now, he travels the country, makes well over $1 million a year, speaking at churches because it's so incredible. People can't believe this guy with nubs can walk, fall on the floor and get back up, and use his foot to tap the drums. There's a link to, if you can see on this page, there's a link to YouTube where you can go and find out about him. And he's an inspirational speaker and everybody thinks he's a hero. And when he talks at churches, everybody cries. And they give him a lot of money and he's got limousine transportation and everything else, everything you could want. He had some challenges. He was born with limited arms and legs. But everybody born with disabilities, if they work hard, can what?
He never knew
he never knew what he lost.
Yeah.
He didn't know he was missing it, so he didn't have the trauma.
He didn't really miss it.
Yeah. He didn't have any trauma. He just had everybody being amazed every time he could do something. And his arms and legs worked, and he didn't have a brain injury. So he used what he had, which is what everybody who's born with disabilities tends to do. People who are born blind tend to learn how to use their other senses, and they learn how to compensate. So it's a lot easier if you're born with disabilities to learn how to use what you got, because you're not looking at yourself as having lost anything. This is what you've always had. You learn to use what you have. It's a little bit easier when you're born that way. Here are some people who weren't born that way. These are people who lost the use of their arms and legs through breaking their neck or back. These are people with quadriplegia who learned how to play rugby in a wheelchair. There's a YouTube link. You can go see the trailer for the movie. It's called Murder Ball. And these guys are incredible heroes because they lost the use of their arms and legs. They lost all their usual ways of getting around and everything else. And they had to learn new ways to do old things. And they accomplished it. So they are heroes. They have a much bigger challenge, in fact, than Nick Vujicic, because Nick Vujicic has little things, but they work. These guys had their stuff that worked, not work. They spent their whole lives, 20, 30 years, learning how to use stuff that no longer works. It is incredibly traumatizing, and it's almost sometimes impossible to not be depressed, because when you compare it now to the way it used to be, it always looks worse. Nick Vujicic didn't have that problem. Whatever he did looked like the first time, looked like the way it's supposed to be. These guys lost something. They overcame it. However, they didn't have brain injuries. They did not have brain injuries, so they learned new ways to do old things and learned to cope with the loss and the stress and the depression, and they learned how to fight it, but they didn't have brain injuries. Now, every one of you guys, and especially this person sitting in front of us today, Al Wood, he, in contrast, had tons of losses. He lost a lot of things that he used to be able to use. You can see the arm isn't working like it used to. He lost all kinds of things. He's in a wheelchair most of the day. And worse than the depression and the loss.
All day.
All day. Worse than the depression and the loss, though, is that he had a brain injury. And as Mo reminded us, brain injuries make it harder to remember, harder to communicate, harder to use your body parts. And no matter how hard you try, it's hard. So you have the trauma that you have to try to get over, knowing that it used to be easy. That comparison sometimes makes it so painful emotionally.
Now that you do make progress, it's like
yeah, as Al said, as Al gets better, he's also more dangerous because he can have accidents and hurt himself. So his reward for getting better was not everybody jumping up and down and saying great. It was actually, in some ways, to be more restrictive, to be tied into his wheelchair. Nick Vujicic, every time he did something, everybody thought it was great. When the wheelchair guys were able to do stuff, at first everybody was real scared, but they managed to talk people into letting them do stuff. Al, because of his brain injury, doesn't have people trusting that he can use good judgment with any new progress he makes. And the fact is that he does have trouble with judging with new progress. That's because the brain injury makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
So when you talk about challenges and heroes, Al's really got it tough. We have 5 commandments of rehabilitation, which represent 5 of the biggest challenges that you have to overcome. Thou shalt make accurate comparisons, because unless you do, you're constantly comparing to how it used to be better before your injury, and you're always wanting to quit, because the emotional punishment for not being as good or as easy as it used to be makes you want to quit. Norman would take your hand out of the fire, and that includes the emotional fire. He has to learn new ways to do old things, but that's constantly distracted by reminders that it used to be easier, which is like a ghost haunting. Many, many obstacles. Many more obstacles, and the worst of it is the brain injury that interferes with relearning. So this is a real hero. This is a real hero. Nick Vujicic, yeah, he's a little bit of a hero, sure. I'm impressed. And we don't mean to diss the guy. He's incredible.
Yeah.
These guys did a little bit more than Nick did. So these are even bigger heroes, the murder ball players. And biggest hero of all are you guys. And Al is one of you guys. Rehab commandment number 3, build yourself up, don't beat yourself down. You got to like yourself, and you can't like yourself unless you remind yourself of how you're a hero. And unless you like yourself, your brain can't be relaxed enough to let you get better, and you won't hang in there long enough to persist and not quit. And that's the bottom line. So this is a tribute to Al. I'm going to pull the camera out of here now. This is Al Wood. Al Wood. If I can get the camera out of here. There we go. Now, let's sing Al a hero's birthday. You guys know how to sing birthday. Stephen, please be prepared. Cover your ears, because he's going to let it go. It's going to be loud. Cover your ears. But sing too. We're going to sing Happy Birthday, Al. You guys ready? This is a hero's birthday because he has been through more crap and he's not getting any rewards from anybody about this. Nobody's paying him $1 million a year to come around to their churches and talk about how he's had all these struggles and what he's accomplished. But he's accomplished more than Nick Vujicic, and anybody who doesn't know that is crazy. You got that? Give him what he deserves. Give him his reward birthday. You guys ready? 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Hero Al. Happy birthday, Hero Al. Happy birthday to you. And many and many